Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of the Giant Take podcast. As you can see, if you're watching, I'm Josh, and I'm by myself for this one as the Giants were defeated 27-20 against the Green Bay Packers today. And I'm going to be completely honest, this one will not be long, not only because I'm by myself, but also this is just another Giants loss to add to the catalog this year of late scores by a team that it seemed like they were kind of in it, kind of not. Jordan Love gets injured. And then you think maybe the Giants have a chance in this one. Jameis Winston doesn't play half bad. And then the Giants even have a chance of going down and winning the football game on their own accord, which is funny because in this game, you didn't think it was going to come down to that. As we saw from weeks prior over the season, most recently against the Chicago Bears, the game that actually got Brian Daboll fired and Mike Kafka his first start of the day and his first start as a head coach ever. In today's game, you just thought, all right, it was going to be another Jordan Love touchdown. But every week, it's just always so predictable that this team is going to lose. After this game, they are now 2-9 on the year. And as Alex and I have talked about time and time again on this show, the losing will continue as this stretch. Since that Broncos come from behind win for Denver, it was them, the Eagles, the 49ers, and the Bears in a row that were all losses, including the Packers today. And it continues on with the Lions team and the Pats in the next two games. And that Pats one is even on Monday Night Football, if that just entices you to watch Giants football even more before the bye week in the early December that then sends the Giants down to the last few games that are more winnable. But that's kind of the stretch that they are at right now. And I don't really have an order of how I want to go in things. I actually just noticed, if you can see, that's a Giant Take. That's a Giant Take picture right there that's tilted, just like this Giant season has been tilted on its head with Malik Neighbors out and Cam Scattaboo and all of the above. All right, let's start out with Jameis Winston. Why don't we? I thought he played fine. I think he played to the best of an ability of a third-string quarterback that is normally a backup on everyone else's team. And it's crazy that the Giants, again, have gone down this far in their depth chart where they took Wilson out to start the year to give Jackson Dart time in the beginning. And a long season to kind of play out. Dart gets injured with this concussion, and now Jameis Winston steps in as the role of the starting quarterback today. 19 for 29, 200, just over 200 yards, and then the ending interception. And then, I guess let's get to the interception now, right? Going down the field, Jalen Hyatt, who just has been nowhere to be found on this Giants team throughout the season. And today was no exception with two catches for 18 yards. This guy was a speedster out of Tennessee. He's just 24 years old, but so far with the Giants, I believe they picked him in the second round. I should know that off the top of my head. I think it was the second round. So either like that or the fourth round. Let's see. In the third round of the 2023 draft, pick 73. And he's just done really nothing. 2023, he had 370 yards on 40 targets. Last year, 19 targets, 62 yards. And so far this year, 13 targets, 35 yards. The guy's been a failure. I know he's only a third-round pick, but I feel like the Giants expected more from him, and he just hasn't given that extra oomph. And today he even admitted to it. And, the Giants have talked about it, whatever. Drew Brees called it on the broadcast. He ran the wrong route. And that wrong route, when the Giants are driving, heading towards the end zone to maybe tie this game up at 27 and send things to OT, ends the game right then and there. You get intercepted. Jameis went the whole game without throwing a pick. He had a really great career before this game, and even after this game, even with the one interception, he had no interceptions coming into this game in like 3 or 4 starts ever against the Packers, and a really high QBR. And, today he played fine. Like, he played good. He looked through his reads well. He was finding options. Again, the Giants' options, lackluster that they are, but they are there. And it starts with the number one wide receiver today. This is absurd. What are we even doing anymore? The Giants of old are back, really. But yes, that is the case. Isaiah Hodgins returns for the New York Giants and leads them in receiving in the first week that he's on the team after being stuck on a practice squad. I don't even know what team it was. It's not even relevant because in his first game with the Giants, he has 5 catches for 57 yards, averages 11 yards per catch, and already right back into the mix. It's like 2022 and 23 or whatever. Yeah, I think those were the years he was on the team all over again. Isaiah Hodgins coming up clutch for the Giants then, coming up clutch for the Giants now in his, homecoming, whatever, reunited at MetLife Stadium. Credit to all the fans that actually decided to attend this game, by the way. As Tyrone Tracy out of the backfield, he had a great day. 4 receptions, 51 yards, rushing 19 carries, 88 yards. Kind of the breakout game for Tyrone Tracy. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of him. I feel like we haven't seen a lot of good of him. We definitely have seen him a lot. With what we were thinking was going to be the 1-2 punch, the 50-50 split between him and Cam Skattebo to start the year, that then evolved to Cam Skattebo fully before his injury. But yet Devin Singletary still takes like those close and those goal-to-go snaps. I mean, successful today, 16 carries, 44 yards. It's about 3 yards per carry, which isn't great, but he did have 2 touchdowns to notch things in. And Jameis Winston had a QB sneak that he sent in for a score. I mean, if it works, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And today that was kind of a sentiment of that with Devin Singletary. Okay, sure. But I just really don't understand why it even when Skattebo was there, I feel like he wasn't. Well, actually, that's probably a lie. Now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like Devin Singletary gets too many carries in the red zone, though, than he should. I feel like why shouldn't that be Tyrone Tracy's area? But again, maybe I'm wrong because like Singletary did score today twice and he got things done and so on and so forth. And then Theo Johnson, I believe he was my player to watch going into this game, the leading receiver so far this year for the Giants, just probably because of all their injuries, including obviously Malik Neighbors, who we all thought would lead the New York Giants in that department. 3 catches for 36 yards, also 36 yards was Wan'Dale Robinson. He had 4 catches in this game for the same amount. On defense, Brian Burns leads the NFL. I think he still does. He had 2 more sacks that he added to his total today. The only player to get a sack today, and he had 2 of them. Brian Burns. Brian Burns is a really, really great player this season for the Giants, and he's proved it yet again this year. And he kind of broke out this year after the Giants got him. I think it was a couple off seasons ago now at this point. So, credit to him. Again, this lackluster defensive line around him, though, sucks. I mean, Kayvon, Dexter, checking in today early, I remember I got like a notification about it that Abdul Carter was in for the Giants, but not doing anything. I mean, these guys, besides Burns, aren't not only pressuring the quarterback, but getting them down, getting tackles, getting running backs losing yards, right? Tackles for loss. We're not seeing that besides the development of Brian Burns to a really great rate. But besides that, nothing there. And then in terms of the Packers now, I'll move to them. Jordan Love gets taken out. Malik Willis comes in for like a drive. He throws a touchdown. Jordan Love, again, like the Giants defense was containing him up until the very end. Then he goes down the field. Christian Watson makes an exceptional catch. They also have a couple nice conversions in there where it's, again, New York Giants. Of course, they have the conversions. The Giants can't stop them as they drive down the field. I feel like I had that realization happening during this game. But 4 catches, 46 yards for Watson, 2 touchdowns in this one. Emmanuel Wilson rushed in. Josh Jacobs didn't have that much of an impact on the ground. Him and Wilson actually evenly divided for 40 yards each. But, I mean, when it all matters most, and again, I think we've seen this season, right? I mean, I could look back at prior games. It was the Bears game just last week that got Brian Daboll, probably like the final thing that got him fired, sure, if you want to call it that. The 49ers game prior to that one, right? The 49ers scored 14 in the fourth, and the Giants just couldn't complete a comeback. Obviously, the Broncos comeback comes to the top of your mind. The Saints Skattebo fumble comes to your mind. And then the Chiefs game where the Giants could have come back, and of course, the Cowboys game in overtime. It's all of these games where the Giants, as they have been in seasons prior, are hanging, and then just at the last moment, they can't make that final stop, and the opposing team runs down the field, scores that touchdown for the game winner, and, as I just did with my hands, you're wiping off You're wiping it away because it's done and it's behind you and it's over. And it's been over a few times this year, including today, where it was over, honestly, before that final drive. Like, I don't even know. Like, Giants fans, like, be honest with yourselves. When Jameis Winston and the Giants are driving down the field, did you think they were going to actually score a touchdown and tie the game? It was crazy, of course, in, again, classic Giants fashion, if you want to call it that they made it all the way down the field into the red zone. And then basically it ends there with the interception on the misrun route. I mean, does it really get any better than that? Does it? I mean, come on. At the Green Bay 14 on 3rd and 6. I mean, there's no explanation. I know a lot of people are talking about Mike Kafka in his first game not coaching well, using that challenge early, not having it late in the game on the first down possibility that they weren't able to review. This season's a waste. I know this is kind of like a trial run to see, like, can Mike Kafka actually be a head coach of the Giants? You had Jameis Winston at quarterback. You're missing your top receiver, so you signed Isaiah Hodgins this week, who you had years prior elevated from a practice squad and is your leading receiver. You have Cam Scatterbo, who is out, and it's Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy as your two backs. Not the worst options, not the best. You're missing your starting secondary, for that matter. I mean, what do you expect for Mike Kafka to do in these games? I think he did the best he could. Sure, were there decisions that he could have made differently? Yes. It was his first time interim head coaching in the middle of the season, towards the end of the season at that, with a 2-8 quality team with a bunch of injuries, and he held a good Packers team that, by the way, is competing for a playoff spot, a 6-3-1 Packers team, to a game that they only won by 7. I thought the team fought today. Maybe that was because of a new regime with Kafka taking over and Dable getting fired. Maybe the rumors are true that Dable didn't have the locker room right. And maybe Kafka does. But I honestly am pretty impressed with this debut. This is how the team is going to play for the rest of the season. Is it going to be more losses? Absolutely. Do I think the Giants are going to win their next 2 games, as we went over earlier in the episode, between the New England Patriots and just next weekend against the Detroit Lions? Absolutely not. No. But do I hope, and do I maybe have an idea that they might fight for those wins and continue to make it close, as they've pretty much done for most of the season within like 1-possession games? Yeah, I think so. Why not? Why not? And it doesn't even matter who's on the field, it seems like, with a third-string quarterback in Winston, with backup running backs, with crazy depth in terms of like low-ranked wide receivers in the NFL. Sure. Apparently, they can still have a chance of getting things done. And that's kind of all you can ask for at this point. If you see your team fighting till the end, regardless win or lose, if you see your team fighting, at least you got to be happy. Because, again, there's not really much to be happy about right now. The Giants are 2-9. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And yes, the updated tankathon, I wanted to check that. The Giants are now number 2. They're a half game back of the Titans at number 1 in the draft. The Browns are 2-8 at number 3. Top 3, top 5 draft pick. That's what I'm asking for. I can't even tell you what position yet, but I guess that Alex and I should start getting our draft scouting going here, because that'll be something to talk about sooner rather than later. And that is going to do it for this episode of the Giant Take Podcast. If you stuck all the way through, I appreciate it. The Giants fall 27-20 to the Green Bay Packers. Our socials are the Giant Take Pod. I'm on X at JoshChilwell29. If you want to drop me a follow, would really appreciate it. And we will talk to you all when we preview, unless something crazy happens again. I mean, listen, we had 3 episodes last week with the recap of the Bears game. I had to think of the team name for a second there. The Brian Dable firing reaction, and the preview for the Packers game. So we'll see what happens this week. Hopefully there isn't too many coaching changes again. Shane Bowen fired after this game? Who knows? I don't know. I don't think so. Probably wait till the end of the season to do that one. But anyways, we'll be back. We'll talk. We'll preview the Lions game next weekend. But, as the best you can, go into Monday. We're almost there to Thanksgiving. If you're a big Thanksgiving fan, I'm right there with you, counting down the days. Love the holiday, fun times, get to see friends and family. And, always good to kind of have a day dedicated to just being thankful, right? Just being thankful for what you have. I feel like we don't do it enough. As much as I, hate this team that's to the left of me and to the right of me hanging up on the walls, I'm thankful for them. I'm thankful for the community of Giants fans and all of the above, right? Got to be thankful. Anyways, all right, that's enough rambling from me. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.